the sacred polarity hidden inside you. Have you ever felt like there's something ancient inside you, something watching, waiting, pulling the strings from the shadows of your mind? You walk through life like everyone else, but deep down, you know you're different. There's a fire that doesn't go out, a hunger for truth that won't let you sleep, a strange magnetism that makes people either trust you instantly or fear you without reason. You don't fit neatly into the light or the dark. You're not purely good, and you're not interested in being evil either. You're something else, something that can't be labeled, something in between. If you've ever felt this, then maybe, just maybe, you are one of the dark chosen ones.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
This journey isn't about fantasy. This is about the very real, very raw, and often terrifying forces that live inside you. You've been told all your life to be good, to think positive, to choose the light. But what if that advice only scratches the surface? What if your soul wasn't designed to choose sides, but to understand them? And more importantly, what if your soul is oriented more toward one than the other, not because of morality, but because of your spiritual function in this lifetime? That's the question no one dares to ask, not even most spiritual teachers. But I will ask it now. Are you angelic-oriented or demonic-oriented? Before you answer, you must understand what that truly means. Angelic-oriented souls aren't just kind or light workers. They are structured to uphold harmony, to build, to protect, to bring clarity, to mirror divine order on earth. They often feel called to heal, to serve, and to guide. But this orientation comes with a shadow, the tendency to avoid conflict, to suppress darkness, to fear chaos. On the other hand, demonic-oriented souls are not evil. That's the biggest misconception. They are destroyers of illusion. They bring disruption, deep transformation, and sacred rebellion. They are the ones who challenge the system, who tear down old paradigms, who embody raw power. They are not here to comfort, they are here to awaken. But they also carry a shadow, the temptation to fall into ego, control, and self-destruction. You see, the problem is never the orientation. The problem is unconsciousness. When you don't know who you are and what forces move through you, you are a puppet. But when you awaken, when you become aware, when you look into the mirror and say, "Yes, I see you, both light and dark, and I will not fear you," that's when you stop being a pawn and start becoming a master. And this is where the dark chosen ones come in. They are the rare few who are born with access to both polarities, angelic and demonic, and are called to integrate them, not reject one, not worship the other, but to become the bridge. I need to tell you something important right now. If you are watching this, if you are drawn to this message, it's not by accident. This isn't a video for the masses. This is a spiritual beacon for those who have always felt torn between two worlds. Maybe in one moment, you feel the urge to protect, to serve, to uplift. And in the next, you feel the heat of rage, the call to destroy, to rebel, to break everything false. You've judged yourself for it. You've tried to silence one side. But what if I told you the truth is this? You were never meant to silence either. You were meant to channel both. But you must learn to see clearly. So let me ask you a question that could change your life. Which energy do you feel more at home in order or chaos? Silence or fire? Peace or power? Your answer doesn't define your worth. It defines your orientation. And once you know your orientation, you begin to understand your spiritual role. You stop trying to be someone else. You start mastering your own current. Let me give you an example. A true angelic-oriented soul will walk into a room and immediately sense who needs healing. They'll feel the tension in the air and instinctively want to soothe it. They are builders of peace. But if they're unconscious of their orientation, they may avoid necessary conflict. They may become passive, afraid of rocking the boat. On the flip side, a demonic-oriented soul walks into the same room and sees the lies being told. They feel the masks, the fakeness, the illusions, and they want to rip them off. They are bringers of truth, no matter how painful. But if they're unconscious, they become destructive, toxic, even cruel. So where do you fall? Are you more drawn to stabilizing or disrupting? Creating harmony or revealing hidden chaos? Are you the healer or the awakener? The protector or the challenger? Both are needed. Both are sacred. But you must know which one you lead with. And here's the deeper truth. Dark chosen ones carry both codes, but one tends to dominate. And it's not a problem. It's a mission. You've probably noticed by now that your path hasn't been easy. You weren't born into comfort. You were born into fire, trauma, confusion, identity crisis. Why? Because you were being initiated. The universe doesn't coddle the ones it needs most. It throws them into the storm to see who they are when everything is stripped away. And if you're still here, still breathing, still seeking, still daring to ask who you really are, then you've already passed the hardest test. You didn't give up. That's the mark of a chosen one. But now comes the real work. Now you must begin to work with the forces inside you consciously. You must learn how to ride the angelic current without becoming a martyr, and how to harness the demonic fire without becoming consumed. You must learn spiritual discipline, not repression, but focused alchemy. Because when you master these currents, something incredible happens. You become a living paradox. You become the one who can heal and destroy, who can comfort and confront, who can lift others into peace, or pull them into truth with terrifying intensity. You become the very embodiment of spiritual evolution. You become a force. But mastering this path requires absolute honesty. No spiritual bypassing, no pretending to be pure light. No glorifying darkness either, just raw, fearless self-awareness. So ask yourself, what are you afraid of inside yourself? Which part of your truth do you still reject? Because the answer to that question holds your next level. Integration isn't about making everything nice. It's about making everything real. And the realest version of you is not clean or dirty, light or shadow, it is whole. So this is your invitation to stop hiding, to stop pretending, to stop asking for permission to be who you are. The angel in you is not here to be perfect. It's here to serve. And the demon in you is not here to destroy. It's here to liberate. But neither can do their job if you keep them locked in the basement of your unconscious. Bring them to the table. Let them speak. Let them reveal what they know. And you, your true self, sit at the head of that table, listening, learning, choosing. That's what mastery looks like. And let me tell you the most powerful truth of all. Once you stop fearing these forces inside you, they stop controlling you. The angelic becomes your breath. The demonic becomes your fire. And you walk through the world not as a saint, not as a sinner, but as a sovereign being. One who knows who they are. One who doesn't flinch in the face of chaos. One who can hold the light without breaking and hold the dark without falling. This is not a path for everyone, but it is the path for you. You wouldn't be here otherwise. You feel this truth in your bones. You felt it since you were a child. You've always known there was more to you than what the world sees. And now, it's time to remember, to reclaim, to rise. The hidden architecture of your soul, why you were designed this way. If you've made it this far, that means something in you has already begun to awaken. You're no longer asking shallow questions like, am I good or bad? Instead, you're asking far more sacred ones. What am I made of? Why do these forces exist inside me? What is my orientation and what is it for? These are not questions of morality. These are questions of mission. And the moment you begin to ask them, you begin to access the hidden architecture of your soul. Let's go deeper. Everything in this universe is built on polarity, light and dark, expansion and contraction, creation and destruction. But polarity doesn't mean conflict. It means energy, movement, evolution. Without the dark, the light would be stagnant. Without chaos, order would suffocate. Without destruction, nothing new could ever be born. And so the soul, your soul, was designed as a sacred vessel to hold both. You were not designed to be pure. You were designed to be powerful, to be a conscious conductor of opposing forces. And here's where it gets wild. Your orientation, whether angelic or demonic, is not random. It's a spiritual configuration, a blueprint, a role you chose before you came here. Now ask yourself, what kind of world would require beings who can hold both light and darkness without being destroyed by either? A world like this one. A world fractured by illusion. A world obsessed with labels, division, and false virtue. This world doesn't need more saints. It needs more integrated souls. Souls who don't flinch in the face of pain. Souls who can walk into the fire and return with wisdom. Souls who can challenge the system without becoming bitter. Souls who can love so fiercely that even their darkness becomes sacred. That's what the dark chosen ones are. But let's be clear. This path is not glamorous. It's brutal. Because to master your orientation, you must first face your distortions. If you are angelic-oriented, you must confront your shadow tendency to bypass conflict, to people please, to sacrifice your truth for the illusion of peace. If you are demonic-oriented, you must confront your hunger for chaos, your desire for domination, your addiction to destruction. Neither path is easy, but both are sacred. And both require what most people fear the most: radical self-honesty. Let me share a moment from my own life. Years ago, during a deep inward journey, I was shown a vision. I stood at the threshold of two massive gates. One was burning with golden light, radiant, peaceful. The other pulsed with darkness, raw, primal, magnetic. I assumed I had to choose one, but the voice inside me whispered, "You are not here to walk through either. You are here to hold them both." That moment shattered something in me. It was the death of the good man I tried to be, and the birth of the sovereign being I was meant to become. You will face your own version of this moment. And when you do, don't run. Don't shrink. Ask yourself, what lies beyond these gates that only I can carry? Now let's talk about energy mechanics. Angelic-oriented souls tend to pull energy upward. They are transmuters. Their field is often calming, soothing, stabilizing. Their presence brings clarity. But when unbalanced, they become overascended, floating in spiritual ideas, disconnected from the body, afraid to get their hands dirty. Demonic-oriented souls, on the other hand, pull energy downward and inward. They are excavators. Their field is intense, disruptive, catalytic. Their presence activates subconscious truths. But when unbalanced, they become chaotic, destructive, and ego-driven. So here's the spiritual hack. Once you know your orientation, you can begin to balance your field rather than suppress it. An angelic soul must learn to descend, to feel rage, to embody primal energy, to stop fearing their own power. A demonic soul must learn to ascend, to cultivate stillness, to soften their fire, to remember love. Integration isn't about becoming neutral. It's about becoming whole. And that wholeness is where your true power lies. But most people never get here. They either cling to the light and suppress the dark, or they rebel into the dark and reject the light. Both are forms of spiritual immaturity, and both keep you trapped. The chosen ones, especially the dark chosen ones, are not here to pick a side. They are here to embody the sacred paradox, to become the living union of opposites. The stillness inside the storm inside the stillness. So let me ask you the next deep question. What would your life look like if you stopped trying to fix your orientation and started mastering it? What if you stopped trying to be gentle when your power is raw and feral? What if you stopped trying to be fierce when your truth is soft and nurturing? What if you allowed your soul to express fully without shame, without distortion, without apology? Because when you do, something miraculous happens. You stop looking for your place in the world. You become the place. People feel your presence and either awaken or run. You start to magnetize everything that aligns with your soul's unique current. Not because you're high vibe, but because you're real, raw, refined through fire. That's the kind of being the world can't ignore. That's the kind of being the world needs. But let's not romanticize this. There's danger here. The more power you awaken, the more temptation arises. The temptation to manipulate, to dominate, to bypass, to judge. The darker your soul's orientation, the more seductive that power becomes. That's why you need discipline, not dogma, not rules, but inner structure, ritual, reflection. You need to create containers strong enough to hold your fire. Because if you don't, that fire will burn you and everyone around you. This is why ancient initiates were trained for years before being allowed to access certain knowledge. Not because knowledge is dangerous, but because unearned knowledge is. You must earn your power through self-awareness, through humility, through facing the parts of you that terrify you. Only then can you wield your orientation as a weapon of truth, not destruction. So where do you begin? Start by tracking your energetic responses. Notice what triggers your peace and what stirs your fire. Notice when you want to save and when you want to destroy. Ask yourself, is this coming from my soul's design or from my unhealed wound? That question alone can change everything. Because most people confuse their trauma with their purpose. They think their need for control is divine will. They think their fear of conflict is spiritual maturity. It's not. It's avoidance. You must go deeper. You must be willing to sit in the silence and ask, what is my essence trying to express through me? Not what your parents wanted, not what your culture shaped, not what your ego craves, but what your soul designed. That's the only compass that matters now. And if you're demonic-oriented, embrace the fire but purify it. Let it burn illusions, not people. Let it cut through lies, not hearts. Let it fuel your mission, not your ego. And if you're angelic-oriented, embrace the light but ground it. Let it illuminate, not blind. Let it soften, not paralyze. Let it heal without enabling. This is the middle path, the razor's edge, and you were born to walk it. You are not here to be tame. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to be true. And truth often looks like madness to those still asleep. But let them sleep. Your job is not to convince. Your job is to embody. To become so aligned with your soul's current that even your silence speaks, even your presence transforms. So I ask you now, are you ready to stop choosing between angelic and demonic and start becoming the sacred vessel that holds both? Because this world doesn't need more polarity. It needs integration. And that integration begins with you. The final awakening, becoming the divine weapon of transformation. If you've walked with me this far, then I'm going to tell you something no one else has the courage to say. You are a divine weapon. You are not merely a seeker, not just a student of the light or a wanderer in the dark. You are a weapon forged by the cosmos itself, sharpened by suffering, tempered by truth, and awakened by the unbearable tension of being both angelic and demonic in nature. You were never meant to choose one side and reject the other. You were meant to embody both, and through that embodiment, become something far beyond duality. You were meant to become conscious force. But let's be brutally honest. Most people are not ready for that level of power. Not because they're weak, but because they're afraid of themselves, afraid of what they would have to let go of, afraid of how much they'd have to unlearn, afraid of what would happen if they actually became who they were born to be. Because once you awaken to your true orientation and you stop resisting the fire of your own soul, you can no longer lie to yourself. You can no longer pretend to be small. You can no longer hide behind spiritual platitudes or moral labels. You're either doing the work or you're not. Let me give it to you straight. If you are angelic-oriented and unconscious, you will cling to victimhood, spiritual superiority, and passive avoidance. You will call it love, but it will be fear. You will call it forgiveness, but it will be repression. You will call it compassion, but it will be self-erasure. But if you are angelic-oriented and awake, your light will slice through illusion like a flaming sword. Your compassion will be fierce. Your silence will be thunder. You will become the still eye in the storm calm, yet unshakable. You will not run from darkness. You will walk into it with open eyes and whisper, "I see you. You are part of me, and I am not afraid." Now, if you are demonic-oriented and unconscious, you will become addicted to destruction. You will confuse chaos with freedom. You will manipulate, dominate, and burn bridges and call it authenticity. You will mistake rebellion for wisdom. But if you are demonic-oriented and awake, you will become the sacred fire that destroys only what is false. Your presence will shatter illusions. Your words will awaken sleeping souls. You will be the dragon that protects the temple, not burns it down. You will still be feared by many, but not because you are dangerous, because you are real. And here's the final, terrifying, liberating truth. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be felt, to be remembered, to be impossible to ignore. That's the mark of the dark chosen ones. You walk into a room and people shift. They don't know why. Some love you instantly. Others hate you without reason. That's because your energy confronts their facade. Your very existence is a mirror. And most people are terrified of being seen. So what do you do with that power? You refine it. You become ruthless with your self-awareness. You expose your own distortions before the world can. You stop asking for validation and start asking for alignment. You stop chasing love and start becoming it. You hold your angelic and demonic forces in one hand each, and you say, "Let's go." You lead yourself. You heal yourself. You choose yourself. Until the world has no choice but to respond to the frequency of your truth. But don't get it twisted. This isn't about becoming invincible. This is about becoming indestructibly real. You'll still cry. You'll still doubt. You'll still fall. But you won't stay down. You'll rise again and again because you finally realized that your pain is part of your power. that your fire is sacred, that your shadows are not enemies, they are portals, gateways to the deeper layers of your soul. So I'll ask you one final question, the one that only the dark chosen ones can answer honestly. Which version of you are you still afraid of becoming? The one who speaks too boldly, the one who loves too deeply, the one who burns too wildly, the one who breaks all the rules, not to destroy, but to build something purer? Because that version is waiting for you right now. It's not in the future. It's not in the next workshop, the next book, the next guru. It's in you. In the breath you take when you stop pretending. In the silence you sit in when you stop performing. In the chaos you embrace when you stop trying to be good. That's where your true self lives. Not in heaven, not in hell, but in the sacred space between. You were never here to be perfect. You were here to become whole. And wholeness, true wholeness, means being able to hold the contradiction of your soul without being torn apart by it. It means being both the healer and the breaker. It means being the storm and the shelter. It means being the light that blinds and the darkness that reveals. And here's the final revelation. Once you truly integrate, you become a portal for others to do the same. Your presence becomes a code, not because you're trying to teach, but because you embody. You don't need to preach light. You walk as the light that understands darkness. You don't need to scream truth. You breathe it. You don't need to fix anyone. You simply hold a frequency so undeniable that it awakens what's already sleeping in them. This is the role of the dark chosen ones, not to save the world, not to be worshipped, but to be mirrors, ruthless, raw, and radiant mirrors for everyone still pretending to be just one thing. Just light, just dark, just good, just bad. You are none of those. You are all of them, and more. You are the paradox. You are the bridge. You are the holy contradiction. And now you are awake. Don't look for the old version of yourself, they're gone, burned in the fire of this remembering. What rises in their place is not a better version, not a more acceptable version, but a truer one, a more dangerous one, a more beautiful one. So go now. Walk in your full spectrum. Speak with the voice of both silence and thunder. Love with the heart of both the angel and the beast. Create with the hands of both the healer and the destroyer. You are not here to choose sides. You are here to become the side no one saw coming. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be undeniable. You are not here to follow the rules of the old world. You are here to break them and build something eternal in their place. You are the dark chosen one. And now you remember.